starving. Everybody's starving here. Try and be fast here. The BAFTA Scotland Award for Outstanding Contribution to Film and Television 2017. I've been asked to say a few words tonight because the recipient of this award is my colleague, and I like to think also a dear friend of mine. He is Mr. Armando Iannucci. Isn't it? The comedy of the last 30 years has been illuminated not just by his work, but by his influence. He gave us the day-to-day, he gave us Alan Partridge, he gave us the thick of it. And in doing so, he created catchphrases, sayings, words that have actually entered the language. Omnishambles, marzipan dildo, come the fuck in or fuck the fuck off. Only William Shakespeare has done a similar thing. And the Bard of Avon would be very proud if he'd come up with a line as poetic as, "Who shat in my porridge?" Yes, the name Armando Iannucci has become synonymous with comedy. His Oscar-nominated film, In the Loop, showed his continual growth as an artist, with its mature themes of politics, war, and swearing. He's enjoyed great success in America, where many people can pronounce his name, with Veep about to enter its 7th season. And his artistic development continues with his latest amazing film, The Death of Stalin, a work so individual it could only be an Armando Iannucci film. But Armando came from very humble beginnings. He started his working life with his dad, Armando Sr. in his pizza business. And he's never forgotten the lessons he's learned there. To this day, if the BBC orders 2 scripts from him, they can also get 1 potato wedges and a small drink. But Armando has made his own way in the world, inspired by his own heroes, the Enlightenment poet John Milton and wee Jimmy Johnson. A trial for Partick Thistle led to early success in the football field. No, it's different, Armando. Comedy called. He sent some gags to STV, and he was very soon writing skits for Glenn Michael. And in a legendary brainstorming session came up with a character, Paladin. And it was Glenn Michael who arranged an introduction to a fledgling young comedy duo called the Crankies, for whom Armando wrote the first draft of their catchphrase, "Fantabby fucking dossy." Let's take a look at some of Armando's work.
Outstanding contribution to film and television.
And Scottish Heaven consists of a bald man who tells me what a great country Scotland is because it invented golf, it discovered penicillin, and it has the songs of Runrig. And outside, everyone was watching some newly recorded Blackadder and guilt-free porn. So I just lost it.
Quick, talk to me. I am in a room with 3 people and a fuckload of quiche.
Alan, sport.
Thanks, Chris. Well, as I said, it really was...
Shut it, Alan. I want you to stop.
The first day I met Armando Iannucci, everything changed. It was like a portal to a new dimension of comedy. In a way, I think of Armando as a kind of comedy Time Lord, or a Doctor Who, if you will, who of course was played by Peter Capaldi, who also played Malcolm Tucker, who's also an Italian Scot. It's interesting the way things interconnect, isn't it? But if there's a hallmark to Armando's comedy, it's that he makes you laugh a lot and think a little. Sometimes he makes you think a lot and laugh a little.
It feels like my brain has been fucking emptied into little packets, into fucking crisp packets. Cheese and onion fucking crisp packets that contain my living, breathing fucking brain.
He's taught me so many things over the years, but the 3 things that always stand out for me are, first of all, just because somebody says this is how we've always done it, is no reason to do it that way. Secondly, contrary to popular practice, there is absolutely no reason for arseholes on a film set. And third, no matter how important something is, you don't have to miss pudding for it.
No, right, that's enough of all the fucking Oxbridge pleasantries.
What's Oxbridge about saying hello?
Shut it! Love Actually! You want me to hole punch your face?
God decided when he created Armando just to give him a load of comedy nous. Too much comedy nous. So the comedy part of his brain, if you looked at an MRI, is just too big. And that's to the benefit of all the rest of us.
Has he given you another series?
No, he won't give me one.
Give him another series, you swine.
Yeah, give me another series, you shit.
The creation of Alan Partridge was genius because it made you see the world in a completely different way. I mean, I don't know how anybody can be a presenter on a small county radio station anymore.
It's 4:35 a.m. You're listening to Up with a Partridge.
We were told by the department and the powers that be and the sort of the crews that shoot sitcoms that this is how you shoot a sitcom. It's 3 sets, flat, that open to the audience. You light it from above and you light it brightly. And he says, I don't want it lit brightly. I want it lit like a drama. I want the set all enclosed. I don't want the audience to see Alan except on the monitors, which seemed totally counterintuitive.
Do you know what it says on the side of my car?
Tossa?
You're in the right ballpark. It actually says cock, piss, partridge.
The highlight for me has to be playing Nicola Murray in the thick of it, which was a really lovely, close collaboration with Armando and the writing team.
It's because I'm the girl at the party nobody wants to dance with. I'm the freak in the corner with a pint of cider and blackcurrant and a funny eye.
No, I mean, you know, it's a big Rolodex full of numbers, I'm sure.
Thank you. You may go.
We still would like to dance with you.
Oh, fuck off. Don't put your glasses back on.
Armando wrote me a letter saying, would I like to play Molotov in The Death of Stalin? You know, there were so many great things in that letter. One, that was from Armando.
Stalin is dead!
The other thing that it was Stalin. It was all about this extraordinary period. And I thought, what a wonderful, you know, dangerous film this might be. You have to wait for it to fill up.
He finds what he thinks is absurd and ridiculous about the world in which we live and expresses that.
It's a secret service, for Christ's sake. Secret as in shut the fuck up. And service as in you work for me, okay? So why don't you shut the fuck up?
And therefore makes us examine our own human condition.
All right, I'm gonna be in my office. Alone.
Oh, Gary, did the Veep just bitch slap you with a door?
I remember being on set for the first time when I went and did Veep, and we were standing, he and I, behind the monitors. Everyone else had gone to lunch. We were behind the monitors in the Eisenhower office building, which is the vice president's office set, and we were trying to wrestle with the problem of an upcoming episode, and we couldn't solve it. And we'd spent 10 or 15 minutes going, I know, what about... oh no, that won't work. Or, oh yeah, this, oh no, that won't work. And after a while, I got so frustrated, I just threw the script down and went, oh, for fuck's sake. And Arm said, I know, look where we are.
Fuck, it's Malcolm.
Oh, it's Malcolm for me too.
How does he do that?
Simon, I don't like finding out about people employed by this government via the news unless they've just died. Be here now.
It's hard to say he's the perfect director because that's saying others aren't, but I mean, he's pretty close to me to the perfect director.
How old are you? I'm old. You're not old! You're not even a person! You're a testicle! You're made mostly of hair!
How would I sum up Armando in a couple of words? Quietly driven, like a Lexus.
Don't ever call me fucking English again.
There's a sort of essential truth to what he does. You know, he's only really interested in characters who you can believe in. And I think that's one of the things that makes Armando really unique.
He trusts himself enough to choose the right people to work with. And therefore, he trusts the people he chooses to work with. And you feel like you can fly.
Have you been at number 10 lately? Jesus, it's like the breakup of the Beatles, right? During the fall of the Roman Empire, while fucking Jordan's getting divorced from that bloke. All happening at the same time in a tiny fucking terraced house, yeah?
I couldn't be more pleased or proud to call you my friend and my mentor.
Thank you for being such a funny man, creating all the funny, being funny to be around, and for not changing. You're still Jenny on the block, which I love about you.
All the work you've done have really been some of the best programmes I have ever seen. So when you asked me to go and play Molotov in the film for you, it was a highlight of my acting career. At last, after so many chiropodists and vicars, a mass killer, something I could identify with.
Thank you, Armando, for changing my life. I love you professionally. Personally, I don't really know the guy. I mean, we never see each other. But there'll always be a little bit of you in my heart and a lot of you in my head.
Congratulations yet again. You are, I'm afraid to say, exceptional.
I just want to say there are many outstanding things about Armando, but the most outstanding thing is about the amount of performers he has encouraged, so many writers and directors. I know for a fact that throughout his career he has shown great generosity and kindness to others, which is in itself deserving of this award. It's my great pleasure to present it to him. Armando Iannucci.
Wow. Thank you so much to those lovely words from my dear, dear friend, Peter Capaldi. Thank you. Have I died? Is that, I kind of feel I'm dressed for my own funeral here. I'm not that old. Or am I getting it now because you're worried some dreadful story about me is about to break? Is that? Yeah, I'm shorter than you probably expected. That's the only secret I've been trying to hide from the world. This must not get out. Thank you. I mean, oh, geez. Michael Palin, my all-time comedy hero. There, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'd like to thank BAFTA. I mean, BAFTA stands for the British Academy Film and Television Arts. But I want to start by thanking radio, really. But it's Radio Scotland. To this day, I still am so grateful and so thankful for the chance and the experience that Radio Scotland gave me. I learned so much at the time there. And everything I learned, I've tried to apply to the next 30 years. From Radio Scotland, I moved to, I became a radio producer, first of all, in London, and I treasure still the first letter of complaint I got after an episode of the news quiz, which ended with the words, "and Iannucci." What kind of a name is that for someone who works for the so-called British Broadcasting Corporation? Well, it's a mark of some pride and satisfaction that in the intervening 30 years almost since that letter was written, that the person who wrote it is probably dead. Better times we're in now. Seeing Peter reminds me of, obviously, times in the thick of it. I still treasure an email from the BBC that says, if you lose 2 fucks a minute, we'll give you 1 cunt. Which, I don't know who that cunt was, but we got one. And it just introduced the whole idea in my head of a sweary exchange rate, which would certainly make the business news better. There's that, and there was the one letter from the lawyer. In all our time doing the thick of it, there was only one line that we were asked to take out, and that was the line that said, it's when Malcolm says, "That's inevitable. That's as inevitable as what they'll find in Jimmy Savile's basement after he's died." We had to lose that. There's compliance for you. It's an interesting fact. Interesting fact, if you actually got all the people who work in compliance to lay end to end, it would actually give you 3 hours of very pleasurable driving. To be serious though, this is a very special moment, a very special award. I'm so pleased to be here, and it's, it is a source of some pride that my 2 films, In the Loop and The Death of Stalin, had their first public premieres at the Glasgow Film Theatre just down the road, my old place. You showed earlier the sketch about That's Except for Viewers in Scotland, which I think is based on a fear that we all had growing up, that the programmes we were watching were sort of made in Scotland for Scotland and only just about Scotland and only just for Scotland. And I think at the time we all felt we can be more outward. We could be making stuff that can extol and share in the pride of Scotland, but for the world. And I remember my 2 comedy heroes at the time were Billy Connolly and Bill Forsyth, who introduced me to a rather pudgy Peter Capaldi area. And they were truly Scottish. They celebrated the Scottishness, but they declared it internationally. And I think that's what we're doing now. And I see these times as exciting times because the whole world, literally, because we can stream online and we can access anything from anywhere in the world, the whole world now is a potential audience. And I find that exciting. So I find it comforting that we no longer hide our talent under a thistle, but proudly alongside it. And finally, I'm trying to think of some of the programmes that were in Scottish Heaven. It was something like a failed Dougie Donnelly chat show and a 6-part cartoon series about Gaelic accidents. All gone now. I find on a personal note, I'm going to take this along tomorrow morning to Clarkston to give this to my mum, who my father, we lost our father when I was 17, so he didn't see all all this happened. So it was just my mum. And really the last 30 years have been sort of me trying to persuade my mum that a career in comedy is actually one worth doing. And I remember when I started hearing her on the phone to someone say, well, yeah, he's doing comedy, but I think he'll be doing Panorama quite soon. And only because Doug mentioned his Emmy, fast forward about 25 years to me getting news that In the Loop had been nominated for an Oscar. And I did that thing which you all dream of doing. I rang my mum and I said, Mum, I've been nominated for an Oscar. And she said, can you ring me later? There's a man in fixing the boiler. So she's 91, still going strong in Claxton. I'm going to take this to her tomorrow. But thank you so, so much. Thank you.